I was described the theoretical concept. In second class, I described the formula, derivation of formula and nature of graph. In this class, I want to analyze the calculation of LC50 or LC50 by the probing method. There are some method more. कुछ और भी इसके मेथड है, 2 मेथड और होते हैं, लेकिन उसको कम यूज किया जाता है. तो यहाँ पे हम जो एनालाइज करना है, इट इज बाय द probing. इन द probing मेथड हम बोले थे आपको इन लास्ट क्लास हम आपको बताया था कि इन probing मेथड में पहला कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या है कि ऑलवेज द बाइनोमियल, यहाँ पे जो भी हम यूज करते हैं वो क्या यूज करते हैं, बाइनोमियल आउटकम. जब भी हम यूज करेंगे अगर मर रहा है तो उसके साथ जी भी रहा है, तो परसेंटेज इज डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 पार्ट, 1 डेथ एंड 1 सर्वाइवल. तो आप दोनों से भी बनाइएगा तो नेचर वही आएगा, क्योंकि आपकी टॉक्सिसिटी है तो आप डेथ की तरफ से इधर से बनाइएगा. एंड फॉर दैट पर्पस वी एट फर्स्ट कन्वर्टेड द टॉक्सिकेंस वैल्यू इनटू द लॉग फॉर्म. टॉक्सिकेंस को हम कितने कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं, लॉग फॉर्म में, एंड द परसेंटेज ऑफ मोर्टेलिटी इन द probing, in the measure of the probing, and in the this one for the calculation treatment concentration is converted into the log. ये किसमें हम कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं, log with base value 10. अब जब आप कैलकुलेटर में हम बोले थे आपको कि कैलकुलेटर यूज करिए या ऑनलाइन आपका जो है इसके बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स है वहाँ पे आप यूज कर सकते हैं. तो वहाँ पे हम बोले थे कि वहाँ पे दोनों आएगा, एक केवल लॉग लिखा रहेगा बेस पर, एक पे लिखा रहेगा log 10. तो सेलेक्ट क्या करना है, log 10. एंड मोर्टेलिटी परसेंटेज इज एडजस्टेड बाय द probing कन्वर्शन. यहाँ पे 2 पार्ट है. जब व्हेन यू विल गो इन द लैबोरेटरी एंड टेस्ट द टॉक्सिसिटी फॉर्म, तो आपको तो वो परसेंटेज में नहीं मिलेगा, आपको वो मिलेगा नंबर में. तो इसके पहले 1 थिंग मोर आपको क्या करना है कि दैट वैल्यू इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू द परसेंटेज. तो किसमें आप कन्वर्ट करेंगे, परसेंटेज. एंड देन आफ्टर द कन्वर्शन टू द परसेंटेज देन यू कैलकुलेट मैच द वैल्यू विद द टेबल ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम प्रेजेंटेड बाय Finney in 1957. And second line, the ordinate represents dependent variable. Ordinate is y represents the dependent, and dependent is the probability, the mortality, rate of mortality. That is that now here represented in the form of the probability. And axis x represents the independent. That is the rate of range of toxicants in the ppm or whatsoever you measure. आप जिस फॉर्म में उसको मेजर कर रहे हैं, ppm में कर रहे हैं, या अगर डोज होगा तो mg वगैरह में या μg वगैरह जिसमें आप यूज कर रहे हैं, that is used in the variables. And where you can derive a graph of the binomial nomenclature, its nature is sigmoid. Its nature is sigmoid in long form, in complete form. But you don't, you are not, it is not possible in the laboratory to conduct the toxicants value from 0 to 100 sequentially. Why so? It is not appeared sigmoid sometimes, it appears the any part of the sigmoid range. तो देखने में आपको कभी-कभी हो सकता है कि लगेगा कि नहीं ये तो sigmoid नहीं हो रहा है, but it is the sigmoid. And now the sigmoid nature is converted into the linear form. ये जो सिग्मॉइड रिलेशनशिप है बाइनोमियल आउटकम्स का, इट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू द लीनियर फॉर्म. एंड लीनियर फॉर्म के 2 प्रोसेस होते हैं, बट आई एम डिस्क्राइबिंग हियर बाय द वे ऑफ द रिग्रेशन एनालिसिस, बाय वे ऑफ द रिग्रेशन लाइन और रिग्रेशन इक्वेशन. एंड दैट द रिग्रेशन इक्वेशन इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय y बराबर a प्लस bx प्लस e, व्हिच आई वाज डिस्क्राइबिंग इन माय लास्ट क्लास. तो हम आपको लास्ट क्लास में डिस्क्राइब कर चुके. Regression coefficient is represented by summation xy divided by summation x square. And I am telling that the xy means a small x. I am writing here the small x. A small x means x minus x bar. A small y means y minus y. That is the difference. इसको अगर यहाँ पे कैपिटल लिखा जाएगा, it will represent the different thing statistically. And when I write here a small x, it is the different. And y-intercept is represented by y-intercept is represented by A is equal to y bar means mean of the y minus b x bar, mean of the x. Error or residual value of regression. E is the error mentioned in the books or in the text. It is mentioned in the error, but it is not any actual error. It is the residual value of the regression, which is departed from the linearity. Of course, in the assumption, we concluded that it is the linear relationship. In my last class मैं आपको बोल चुके हैं कि जब इसको हम एनालाइज करेंगे तो ये मेरा एजम्पशन है कि ये रिलेशनशिप क्या है, लीनियर. इट इज माय एजम्पशन. And now here suppose here we calculated the 5 groups of animals and concentration. We use the concentration 60 ppm, 70 ppm, 80 ppm, 90 ppm and 100 ppm. It is just hypothetical example. It is not actual. इसको मन से हमको जो मन किया हमने आप भी मन से जो मन करेंगे. It is hypothetical. That is the 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. That is the concentration of the toxic any toxin. And the second, the mortality rate, percentage mortality rate. That means what is the actual mortality? Here it is converted into the percentage before the initiation of the calculation, and it is converted into the 15%, 22%, 31%, 41% and 48%. It is the rate. These two components we collected from any experiment. ये आपको किसी experiment से नहीं. The first step, the concentration is converted into the log scale. Again, I am asking that you are free to use the online calculation. And now it is converted into 60 का log value है, and here it is converted to the probit value from the probit table. Last class में हम आपको बतला चुके हैं कि probit table से आप कैसे उसको convert करेंगे. And these are the components, basic components which you calculate at first. X, Y, that X means X minus X bar, Y means Y minus Y bar, X, Y, that is the multiplication value of the X minus X bar in and Y minus Y bar, that is the X square, that is the Y. And when you calculate the log 10 value, it is the total value 9.49 and it is the mean value 1.89. It is the mean value of the X. And here it is the total value 22.66, that is the 4.532, it is the mean. That means the X bar is represented by 1.898 and Y bar is represented by 4.532. Now we calculate the value of B, and B is calculated by summation xy divided by summation x square.
Yes, sir.
That is the summation xy 0.16833 divided by summation x square 0.031994.
Yes, sir.
And when you divide this value by this value, we get this 5.261298. It is the value we obtain by the dividing the summation of the xy divided by the summation of the x square.
Yes, sir.
And in this way, we get the one value, that is the regression coefficient. It is the value of the regression coefficient. And now we calculate the value of A. A is calculated by the Y bar. Y bar, that this value is the Y bar, minus B value, this one the B value, multiplied by the
X bar.
1.89. And after the calculation, we get A value of A is equal to minus 5.4. In this way, we can easily obtain the value of the regression coefficient and intercept of the regression coefficient and intercept of the line. A is the intercept and B is the regression coefficient. And here, after the obtaining of the A and B, we get a equation.
Yes, sir.
That is that equation is now represented by y hat. That equation is now represented by the y hat. That is the y hat barabar equal to a. That is the value of a plus bx. It is the value of b. And x is not mentioned here. Whatsoever the value of the x, you write here the x. That is the regression equation. If you write the y hat equal to minus 5.4539 plus 52612 xi, that is the value of that represents the regression equation. It's represent the regression equation. Clear? कोई दिक्कत नहीं. यानी ये a का वैल्यू है, ये b का वैल्यू है. y हैट हम क्या बोलते हैं? a प्लस bx. तो इसके में हर एक x का वैल्यू जब लिखते जाइएगा, then it represents the y hat value with respect to the specific x. यहाँ पे एक x वैल्यू मिल चुका है. दिस x का अब हमको y अगर वैल्यू निकालना है तो यहाँ पर इसको आप मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए x के वैल्यू से, तो y का वैल्यू मिल जाएगा विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू द दिस वैल्यू. क्लियर? यहाँ पे कोई दिक्कत? बिफोर वी go to the analysis by the line, we want to calculate here the LC or LD50 value. In my last class, I told you that the y is 5 when we want to calculate the LC50 or LD50, then we put the value of y by the 5, that is the probit value. 5 is the probit value. Then 5 is equal to minus a plus b xi. That xi represents the value of the LD50 or LC50, whatsoever, or ID50. So minus 5.4539 plus 5.2613 xi. Here xi, if you calculate, that is 10.4539 divided by 5.231. It is equal to the 1.98. And then it is the 1.98 is in the form of the log. It is in the form of the log. Now, if you want to actual value, then the log is converted into the anti-log. And for the calculation of the anti-log, you are free to use the online converter. And where you calculate the anti-log of the 1.98, that is 97.72 ppm. That means it is the calculated value of the LD50 or LC50. Here, हम ppm लेके चल रहे हैं, that means the LC50. ppm का मतलब है कि वो लिक्विड है. That is the LC50. So now it is the calculated, that is the LC50 is calculated. But when we want to explain, represent it through the graphical representation, then it is necessary to get the y hat value for the each x value. Y hat value for the each x value. Then we calculate here, that is the y hat. And here the log x, y percentage, probit value of y, all are not necessary here. Because for the y hat value, only two components, we want to only two components, one a value and another b value. B value is multiplied by the x value. B value is multiplied by the x value, and then in the product value, we add the value of the a. Now you get the y hat value for the each corresponding x value. And here it is the y hat value for the each corresponding value. Clear? कोई दिक्कत नहीं? And one thing here, it is not necessary, अभी आपके लिए जरूरी है, but I write here, that is the regression line is the least square deviation. That is the y minus y hat deviation square is the lowest, which represents the regression line. It is the essential feature of the regression line. Easily it's completed here, but it is not necessary here for you. And here, see, the probit value. It is the scattered graph. It is the scattered graph. and it is the actual value. It is the profit value and it is the concentration. It is the profit value and it is the concentration. It is the actual Venn graph. Oh, sorry, Ascattered graph. It is the Ascattered graph. And this one is the regression line. This one is the regression line. It is the Venn graph. This one is the Venn graph and it is the regression line. See here, y barabar 5.2613x minus 5.4539 because a is represented in the form of minus. It is the value of the a, it is the value of the a and it is the value of the y. क्योंकि यहाँ पर a का जो वैल्यू हमको निगेटिव में आया है इसीलिए ये निगेटिव यहाँ पे बदला रहा है. And this white line is satisfied to this regression equation. ये white line जो है वो क्या रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है? Regression equation को satisfy कर रहा है. Clear? And this one is the Venn graph. It is the part of your original or actual observation in the laboratory. Clear? कोई दिक्कत नहीं? Draw a line parallel. Draw a line parallel to the x-axis, which touch to the y-axis, roughly here. And if you draw again the y line with respect to the parallel to the x-axis, it comes roughly here. That is the point of the 1.8. Here, जैसे आप इसको यहाँ पे ऐसे इसको 5 को ऐसे लाइन करिए, बाद में बदलाएंगे और इसको जब नीचे आप करेंगे तो क्या हो जाएगा 1.88 के लगभग. And this part is represented, यही वैल्यू आपको दिया जब आपने कैलकुलेट किया 1.88 log
98 1.98
1.98 लगभग यहाँ पे 2 के 10 पहले यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. और इसको जैसे ऊपर लेके जाइएगा देखिएगा ये यहाँ पर ठीक 5 के साथ क्लियर. नाउ इट इज द ग्राफिकल
representation.
Guide the line. Now the second part is to analyze the significance and 95% confidence interval. Significance level and 95% confidence. And for that, it is necessary to calculate the extended error of B. Extended error of B. And here, the extended error of B, for the calculation of the extended error of B, the formula is summation of y square minus the summation of x square whole square. Here summation of, it is not simply the summation of the xy, it is the summation of the xy whole square. Summation of the xy whole square. And that divided by the summation x. So now if we calculate the value of the extended error is we calculated here 0.179. For this one summation x square, this one the value which I obtained earlier, summation y square 0.92228 I calculated earlier, summation xy square, summation xy square, that this value, this value, the square of this value, the square of this value. Now df. In my last class I told you that it is actually the decimal and 1 n minus 1 for the x and again minus 1 for the y, that means n minus 2 and here the n value is 5. Then the degree of freedom is 3, 5 minus 2, that is the 3. And s square y square, that means here s square y square, this value is the multiplication value, this one, this value is the division value of this one, this value is the y square minus this one, and this value is this one is divided by n minus 2, that is the 3. Now we get the SB is this one is the x square xy divided by x square represented by 0.38176, and the under root of the 0.38196 is 0.6179. That means this value is represented the extended error of the regression coefficient. Extended error of the regression coefficient. Now we calculated the t-value for the determination of the significance level. And here the t-value is represented by b minus b0 divided by extended error, which I discussed in my last class. And here that means b becomes 0 as the null hypothesis. When we consider the null hypothesis, it represents the b0 is 0. And that means b divided by sb, here the value is represented the t-value, and the t-value is 8.514, or in short 8.515, because this one is the more than 5, and it represents the rejection of the null hypothesis, because the t-value at 0.05 significance level in two-tail in 3 degrees of freedom. Clear? I discussed in last class also this one. T at the significance level 0.05 with two-tail and at 3 degrees of freedom. The value, the table value, if you observe the T table, the value is 3.182. That means the value of the T is more than the value of the 0.05 level. More than the value of the 0.05 level at 3 degrees of freedom. That means the null hypothesis is rejected. And the rejection of the null hypothesis is clearly indicates that the toxicant has effect on the mortality rate. Toxicant has the effect on the mortality rate. And now, if you want to derive the 95% confidence interval for the regression coefficient, that is represented by the B, the formula is B plus minus T value divided by extended error. Extended error. That is the extended error. And here again the T value is the 3.182. That means B plus minus 3.182 multiplied by the extended error is represented the 95% confidence limit of the regression coefficient. Clear?